September 17, 1787, the signing of the U.S. Constitution. On this day, the U.S. Constitution was signed by the Continental Congress. This got rid of the Articles of Confederation, brought checks and balances into the united government. There was a division of power with three branches of government: legislative, executive, and judicial. James Madison contributed most to the Constitution. He solved the question of limiting power by creating different branches of government. Under the Constitution, Congress had two chambers, the Senate and the House of Representatives. The Whiskey Rebellion showed the power of the federal government under the Constitution. This was a significant date because the Constitution is the biggest document in U.S. history, and we still use the Constitution some 232 years later.
Is yours. All right, gentlemen, the time has come to... Speak up, Mumbles, we can't hear you in the back. The time has come to review and sign our Constitution. Hey, remember when we all came here thinking we were just going to tweak the Articles of Confederation and not create a completely new government without any real mandate or authority of the people? I'm just saying, so...
April 30th, 1803, the Louisiana Purchase. 828,000 square miles for $15 million. Napoleon had to sell the land because he was preparing for war in Europe and did not have the resources to maintain Louisiana as well. The purchase doubled the size of the United States. Jefferson knew that the value of the land, but it went against the Constitution because he believed in a strict interpretation of the Constitution. Congress approved of him to buy New Orleans for $10 million, but not everything else for the extra $5 million. He was in conflict due to his strict belief in the Constitution and the great deal of Louisiana Purchase.
Mighty profit. Well, it looks great. What's the price? Between actual cash and cancellation of French debt, this place goes for $15 million. That's pretty high. Our ceiling is 10 mil tops. Well, there is one more thing. The property does come with a yard. Really? How big? 500 acres? 1,000 acres? Oh, 530 million acres. 530 million? Oh, yes. Pretty much everything from the Mississippi River to the Rocky Mountains.
September 17th, 1862, the Battle of Antietam. This was a huge turning point in the Civil War. It was the bloodiest single day in the Civil War. The South was fighting defensively, but then ran out of supplies, so they had to go offensively and invade the North. When they invaded the North, they lost the battle. This was the first major battle that the North won, and if the South didn't run out of supplies, we could possibly still have slavery today. We could also be called the Confederate States of America instead of the United States of America. December 7th, 1941. U.S. joins World War II. This was because Japan bombed Pearl Harbor in a surprise attack. The first wave of bombers came at 7:55, and the second wave came an hour later. 2,403 people were killed on this attack. The U.S. also lost 8 battleships, 3 cruisers, 4 other vessels, and 188 airplanes. This caused the United States to declare war on Japan, and 3 days later, Germany and Italy declared war on the U.S. This eventually led to the use of the first atomic bomb used on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. U.S. joined the war, which completely changed the war, and ultimately the United States won World War II. May 17th, 1954. Brown v. Board of Education. This was a Supreme Court case about segregation in schools. It overturned the decision in Plessy v. Ferguson, which said African American and white schools can be separate but equal. It incorporated integration into public schools. Some people in the South did not like this and caused trouble because of it. This is seen in Little Rock, Kansas, when there were 9 African American students who could not attend a so-called white school. Thurgood Marshall was the lawyer fighting for Brown, who helped win this case. He also became the first African American Supreme Court justice. This led to the end of racial segregation in public facilities on paper, not in reality. These events are all related because they all helped expand, grow, or develop the United States. The theme of this is expansion and growth development in the United States.